it's Ryukin here, and welcome to the weekly dose of reviewing stuff, episode 75 Spectacular. And today, in this new episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff here, we are going to take a look at the tiny mic. Well, you heard that right. I'm going to review a tiny mic that is completely off the frame right now because I have it on the boom stand. And well, so is there any reason why I bought this tiny little mic here? Well, there's only one reason why. Shout out to Mr. Tom! So he made a video about an interview my Shoutout. So this is the reason why I bought this tiny little mic here. You can go check his video out, so I will put the links in both the description and the annotations inside this video, so you can go feel free to check him out if you want to. And if you do like his content, so go subscribe to him. Like what I did. And the story begins when he came across the part where he uses a tiny mic like the one I'm using right now. So that put me in a curious mode, like really curious. Is it any good like what he describes in the video? Or is it really depend on a country or a religion? And well, so that's how I bought this tiny little mic here to put it into a few video tests. So you're going to find the answer of how good this thing is in its own nature. And alright, so without any further hesitation ado, so let's get this video started. Without further ado. Well, I guess 7 fingers doesn't have any better, but why not covering up the lens? So as we briefly take a look at glance on a tiny little mic right here, you can see that it is really small. It's so small is that even a real dynamic microphone could have been off the way. And speaking about those things, and here is a real dynamic microphone right here on my left hand. So y'all can see that this is a Philips, where is it? Well, is a Philips Imp 600 Omega type of. So this microphone right here, came from like the mid 80s or late 80s, and comparing that to a tiny little mic right here, you can see that is really string compared to the actual size of the condenser microphone itself. So and here's the real thing, and here's the string version of the condenser mic. So you can see that it's really small, and comparing that to a condenser mic, you can see that is stringed down to a 1/3 of the size. And at the end of your tiny mic, you got a TRRS plug and as well as the headphone jack for connecting up to your headphones to monitor something in the audio or listening to playback of your music, which is separated from the main plug as well. And in order to use it with your audio recorders or your camera or your camcorder, you have to buy a separate adapter that converts your TRRS plug into a regular TRRS plug, which is going to be compatible with the most of the cameras and audio recorders, which in order to make it all compatible, or else your camera would think that it uses like the microphone from this, and then you have to connect your microphone to the headphone jack instead. So, and well, of course, this is actually going to be compatible with almost everything, like your smartphone, or in case if you have adapters, you can use it with your camera or your audio recorder if you wish. Which for me right here, I use it with my camcorder like off camera, and I also use it with the wireless mic set, which somehow it just worked for me. And originally, this thing came in a purple color, which I don't really impressed with that much, so that's why I brought the black tape to cover that ugly purple color up, leaving the only traces of its original identity color, which is right here. So that's why I used the black tape to cover the true identity up, and this is the only remaining traces of the living thing. So you can see that it's a purple color at a glance. The cable itself, well, it looks cheap. Well, the cable itself, it looks cheap, like what you expect for a cheap, tiny gadget, and that's really it. So there is no on-off switch on the mic itself, like on the real thing. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So this thing right here, it doesn't even have the on-off switch like on the real dynamic mic right here, which it has an on-off switch to turn off the microphone while it wasn't in use. But in order to get it on use, so you have to unplug from the audio source, and that's because this thing right here, it can be only powered through the audio jack from the source, and that's it. So that's how you can power this thing up. It's really a simple mechanic, but unlike on the real thing, which it uses a XLR plug on the bottom and has an on-off switch right here to turn on and off the microphone in case if you don't want to use it or if you are not in use. And here's that one tiny mic, and comparing that to a 1 Thai baht coin in size. So you can see that just look how small this thing is. And comparing that to a 1 Thai baht coin. So this is pretty much an ideal comparison here for you guys here living in Thailand. And well, enough with the comparisons with the real thing. So right now I'm going to get this thing into a real video recording situation, which I'm going to get tested both from the Comica Boom X-D2, the direct input, the smartphone, and the audio recorder, which right now I don't have an actual audio recorder to do this test. So I'm going to use my phone right here to use as my audio recorder. So this is my old phone, a Vigo Power U30, which I'm going to use it as my audio recorder. And also for the example of the smartphone camera right here, I'm going to be using my Sony Xperia right here, that I'm going to be using it to record the video, but while I have this tiny microphone plugged into the smartphone. And this is going to give you an idea of what the microphone will sound like when used from the smartphone. And otherwise, well, of course, enough with the comparisons and everything. So right now, I'm going to get this thing into a real video simulation test to see how well this tiny little micro performs. And also, is it actually really true, like what Tom Buck said in the So is it any true, like what Mr. Tom Buck said in his interview Mic Showdown? Well, of course, we are going to find out in the microphone test of this little thing, a tiny mic. And without any further nonsense ado, let's get this real video recording simulation test on a tiny little mic started. And also, I'm not going to be using its sponge filter that it came in the package. Well, I just want a raw audio out of it without any filter on it. And alright, let's get this an actual video recording simulation test on a tiny little mic started, shall we? Choose your destiny, boys. And here's a tiny little mic test on my wireless mic setup from my Comica Boom X-D2. And as you can see that the audio right here, it is, it's actually it's using the wireless mic setup, but instead of just using the direct input from my camcorder. And here's what it sounds like. And well, of course, I have set to like what I did in the previous part of the video, which I have set to 4 decibels in the audio gain. And as you can see that the audio right here is kind of sounding like this actually, but it kind of sounds like some sort of a lavalier mics that you would find on the most of those wireless mics out there, like the one right here that I'm using for my Comica Boom X-D2 right here, which I don't really use that often because I would prefer the Bluetooth microphone on the wireless mic themselves. So let me show it to y'all right here. So, and here it is. So this is a Bluetooth microphone on the wireless mic, so I would prefer using that. So because it's kind of convenient. And here's what it sounds like from the tiny mic on my wireless mic setup, my Comica Boom X-D2. And right now I'm going to switch to the direct input to see what it's gonna sound like in a nutshell. But maybe you have to prepare your ears because this is going to get loud in this part of the video where I'm going to use the direct input from my camcorder. And alright, so right now I'm going to switch to the direct input right here to see what it's gonna sound like, and prepare for your ear raid madness. And here's a tiny mic test using the direct input from my camcorder. As you can see here right now, I didn't use the wireless mic. So as you can see that right now, I have unplugged the tiny mic for the wireless mic, as you can see here. And here's what it sounds like when it came from the direct input of my camcorder, and here's what it's gonna sound like when you having your mouth being really close to a tiny mic. It totally make no difference with my wireless mic, but except this, when used from the direct input, is not adjustable on the mic itself because there is no adjustable gain on anywhere on the microphone itself. So, and alright, so and here's what it sounds like when uses the direct input from my camcorder instead of the wireless mic. So as you can see here again, I have unplugged this thing from my wireless mic, and I'm using the direct input from my camcorder to record this part here. And alright, so I think this is going to be enough for this part here because how ear rape sounding it is, because right now I have set to normal microphone preference level because you know the gain right here is gonna get really loud, and you can even do an ASMR on this thing too. Just like this, you know ASMR. Well, I bet you know because I'm speaking like this really quiet, you know. And here's what it gonna sounds like. But I didn't test it with my wireless mic because you know it's actually gonna sound like that the same anyways. The wireless mic uses the gain to adjust, but meanwhile from the direct input it's gonna sound like this with no adjustable gain at all. The only gain that you can set is only through the camcorder settings, and that's it. Or if you have DSLR with no adjustable gain, you're in good luck because you don't have a way that you can set the audio gain. And of course it's going to loud and loud like this. It's going to get loud like this. Alright, so enough with ASMRing, and right now I'm going to switch to my smartphone camera, which right now I didn't charge my smartphone camera for this part, so I will have to use the audio recorder instead because you know my phone is charging, and well, of course I'm gonna be using my other phone right here. And alright, so I think this is going to be enough for this video. I mean the part right here of this video. So alright, so I'm gonna be switching to the smartphone camera and then the audio recorder to see what's gonna sound like in a nutshell. Okay, so fortunately I do have my smartphone camera charged up at the time of recording this, so alright, so as you can see here, here's what it sounds like for a tiny mic on the direct input of my smartphone using a TRRS plug, which is a standard plug that this tiny mic came in. And of course, it really depends on the situations where you have it boom off the frame like this, or you have it really close to the microphone like you're using the lavalier mic. And alright, so I think this is going to be enough for this part here. And again, I'm going to test an ASMR right here. And right now I'm speaking really quiet because it is morning. Alright, so I think this is going to be really it for this part right here. And right now I'm going to cut you all to the field audio recorder test to see what it's gonna sound like. And of course I'm gonna be using the field audio recorder to record in the next part of the video to see what it's gonna sound like when it's recording from the field audio recorder, which right now I didn't have an actual thing to test it out yet. So I'm gonna be using my old phone right here to record this field audio test. And here's a tiny mic test on my field audio recorder, which as you can see here right now, I'm recording this on my field audio recorder, which I'm going to be using this phone right here to record this part here. And here's what it gonna sound like. But even though I have set to a custom advanced audio recorder settings, which, well, of course, it really depends on your smartphone, which whatever you have your advanced audio recorder on it, or if you're using the Blue-in audio recording app, which audio right here, it's gonna sound different depend on your smartphone or the app that you're using. And alright, so I think this is going to be enough for this part here. And alright, I think this is going to be basically it for this audio test part here. And right now I'm gonna be cutting you all to my conclusions of what I think about this mic here. And well, of course, I still have a lot of thoughts about this microphone right here that I'm using right now. Because, you know, the quality, well, I can't really tell. But except something else, maybe it really depends on the something else that you have recorded on to this mic. Whatever you have your cassette audio recorder, your field audio recorder, or your camera or your camcorder, your DSLR, your GoPro or whatever. So it really depends on the device that you're using to use this mic. Alright, so I think this is going to be really it for an actual field microphone test of this tiny mic. And right now I'm going to be cutting you out to my conclusions, and then, as we all know, the final words. And alright, so this is going to be really it for this part here. And right now, without any further hesitate, let's get this conclusion started. The post tiny mic test. Alright, so with all of the tests done for the tiny mic, and right now I'm going to talk about my conclusions of what I think about this thing right here. So, and first of all, for my experience that I've done doing all of the 4 tests, and including the one that I made a fun test with the Comica Boom X-D2 wireless mic itself, which, well, the audio right here, which I'm gonna say it's really depend on what the device you're using with this microphone. Like if you have it on your wireless mic, or your camera, your GoPro, or your DSLR, your camcorder like the one I'm using right now, or your smartphone, which the audio right here, which I'm gonna say it vary. So it really vary depend on what you're gonna be using to record this thing out of. So, but like if you have the audio recorder, which I think it's actually going to work, but you know what? The audio quality, which I'm gonna say it really depends. So, but even though this thing right here, it doesn't even have adjustment or anything, so it literally just a pure lavalier mic guts with a casing of a dynamic microphone, which, well, but I think it's, you know, how do I know that? Because, well, when I unscrew this part right here, where it's actually supposed to be like removable, and you can see that just somehow tiny the mic capsule is about the same size as those lavalier mics or the Blue-in wireless microphones. And I was actually going to expect the audio quality to be like worse than what he described in the interview showdown video, but well, hey, it actually doesn't sound too bad. But although it really depends, just like I said, it really depends on an audio device that you're using on. Like you have your audio recorder or your camcorder. Like you have your audio recorder, your camera, or your camcorder. It really depends on what the audio that you're using on or the camera that you're using on. So it varies. So I couldn't tell y'all about it. But from my experience that I've been playing around with this thing and I've been testing this so far, which, well, I could say it's really worth the money. But although the blue quality, which it's so cheap, so y'all can see how thin the wire is. But the audio right here, on this microphone right here, there's no adjustment on anything, so I will have to set it on the receiver itself, or if I have it in the direct input on my camcorder, I will have to set it in the microphone settings, which the only thing that I have in the options in the camcorder settings is only normal and low. So there's 2 settings inside of the camcorder for the microphone settings. So, and there's not much for that. So there's no auto gain control or manual gain control. So there are only 2 options for the microphone settings on my camcorder. So just like I said, low and normal. So there's only 2 of them inside this camcorder for the microphone settings. So, and alright, so, but I'm gonna say, after all, it doesn't sound too bad, but I'm gonna say it's surprisingly good. But although this microphone right here, I would probably going to use it if I have spare time to play around with this mic, or I would even going to use it as my boom microphone if I really have an opportunity to review stuff. But while I have this mini microphone right here, or a tiny mic out of the frame, like it's actually a boom mic. So, but well, of course, it's going to work as a boom mic though, but the sound that it picks up, it really varies, depend on the mic capsule itself, which, just like I said, the size of the capsule microphone is really tiny. It's about the same as those lavalier mics out there. Well, so that's why I'm going to call it a mini microphone with a lavalier mic guts inside of the casing of a tiny microphone. So, but of course, it works after all. So, I guess. Alright, I think this is going to be it for this video. And if you do like this review right here of a tiny mic, or you have satisfied with it, so don't forget to leave me a like, comment if it's actually okay or not. So, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to leave something in the comments down below if I missed anything or did something wrong. I read all of your comments, so I'm going to take a read at the comments, and I'm going to, reply on your comment as much as possible. So, right? And well, I think this is going to be really it for this video. And again, don't forget to leave a like, comment if this video is okay or satisfied with it. And the most important thing is, which is to press that red subscribe button, like this. I do appreciate y'all for that. And I will see you all there in the next video, where I'm going to make more awesome quality content like this. And well, along with the tiny mic that I'm going to be using in my future videos, because it's just work after all. Alright, so that was really it for the review of my tiny microphone. And of course, again, thanks to Mr. Tombak for making that, and whatever it is, an interview my showdown video. So again, you can go check his video in the links in the description, or you can check out his entire channel if you're interested in his content. So just like me, the links are now both in the description, both for him and for me. Well, both of them. And you can feel free to add me on Xbox and Minecraft and Shoutout mod, which you can also add me on Fabric, Java, any version. So just put my username on my Shoutout mod and you can add me. So I just want more friends in Minecraft Java. So, and okay, so I think this is going to be it for this video, and I will see y'all there all around with this mic, where I'm going to make more awesome quality content like this. Maybe in the next season. And anyways, bye bye, สวัสดีครับ Woo!